Okay, I have tried making this video twice already, and I am just so awkward that it is not going well, so hopefully I will do better this third time. I just wanted to explain how I made my Harley Quinn Suicide Squad costume, because I know there are a lot of tutorials, but I don't know if maybe I did something different that might help someone. So yeah. First of all, for the bat, I just got a plastic bat from Target, which was actually orange, and I bought this paint from there as well. And yeah, I only needed one bottle of it. I bought two. One was more than enough. And it covered it really well. You can see. Yeah. There are some places now, like down here and down here, where it's a little chipped off, and that's just because of my ferrets chewing on it. I used acrylic paint for the letters and this little piece right here. I made stencils for each of these letters. I cut out squares first so that they were all the same size, and then I cut the letters out of each square. And I just painted over it, and then I went around the outside of it with black so that it was outlined. This part's the only part I'm not happy about because the red looks kind of weird, and it's bothering me now that I see it. For the wig, I just bought a blonde wig. It's not the best one because it's not as light a blonde as it should be, and it's got bangs, but it works, and it looks better before I started coloring it. It's still decent now, it just, I don't know, you might be able to tell it's not in the best condition, but I used fabric dye. I was trying to make a jacket, and so I was just also using the dye from that to try to do this, and it worked. I tried to use hairspray first, which wasn't working as well, so I'm pretty happy with this, even if it's not perfect. This was the jacket that I did. Kinda sucks. I tried dyeing it multiple times. I wasn't even using the right dye a couple times because I didn't know what the jacket was made out of. And I think I dyed this blue side of it like 3 different times. It was just really bad. I found that I'm not good with fabric dye at all. It's still not even the color that I want it to be, so I have decided just to give up on it. But if by chance you happen to try this method and have luck with it, I just bought a white jacket and I cut it in half and I dyed each side of it. So at least you know what to do up to this point. For the shirt, I tried dyeing one and it didn't work. So I ended up buying a red t-shirt and a white t-shirt from Walmart, and I just cut this piece right here where this red shape is. I cut that out of each shirt, and then I took the piece from the red shirt and sewed it to the white shirt, as you can see. It was pretty easy, kind of just had to cut a straight line across here, and then for right here, it's connecting to the sleeve through the shoulder. I just ripped the shoulder seam down to where I was cutting it, and then I just sewed it together where the original seam was and across the line that I cut. And then for the sleeve, I first used the seam ripper on the hem of the white sleeve so that it was longer and it didn't have the hem there. And then I had strips of the red fabric that I cut out. I tried to use pieces of hems. So I used like the hem of the sleeve first, and I tried using the hem at the bottom of the shirt and just cutting it to the length that I needed, and then I used the seam ripper again on that to get the width of it. And then for the white pieces right here, I just cut out one piece, and then either from like the side of the bottom of the shirt, or I think I had to cut one out from the middle of it because I lost the other piece. So I just cut out like that one bigger piece and then cut that into 2 smaller pieces so that I had the piece to sew in right here that didn't have the hem, and then I still had this piece with the hem already there. And I also tried to cut it out where there was a seam so that I could match it up with the rest of the sleeve, the seam of it. And then I kind of just had to sew, if there was an open side of it, I just had to sew that together and then try to keep that whole line matched up. And then for the words, I used a Sharpie first, which I then had to go over with a fabric marker. Make sure that you use the fabric marker first. It is better, and Sharpie is a bad idea. So I tried to make a stencil for each of the words, which kind of worked, kind of didn't. Like, I was trying to use it, and I struggled a little bit, just the way that it was coming out. I wasn't too happy with it, so it was like a little bit stencil and a little bit just freehanding the letters. And I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I did the whole Sharpie thing. I got something on it, which was actually Sharpie I had drawn on my arm, and it rubbed off on my shirt, and I had to wash it off. And I was hand washing it because I was afraid of the Sharpie from the letters bleeding. So I wanted to be careful, and I was trying to keep the letters out of the water, but I failed a little bit. So like right here, it got wet and bled a little, which after that happened, I went over the letters with a fabric marker, and then I washed it again in the washing machine, hoping for the best because I was so afraid that I was going to ruin it. But when it came out, what had already bled was gone. Like, I think right here, there might be a little bit there that's not washed out, but it looks better. It did bleed a little bit right here, too, but knowing that it washed out, at least for the most part, it seems the first time, this might wash out if I'm lucky, maybe. If not, I mean, it's not too big of a deal. It doesn't, I was afraid that it was going to be, like, ruined, so this is not bad at all. I can live with this. And then I just put some holes in it. I don't remember exactly how, and it really shouldn't be that hard to put holes in something, so. This was the first pair of shorts that I made. I used 2 pairs of jeans that I just cut down the middle and then sewed them together. They aren't the most comfortable thing to wear. They work. It seems like for me when I first put them on they aren't very comfortable, but I mean after a while I get used to it. And they seem to be holding up pretty well, despite the fact that they are 2 pairs of jeans that I hand sewed together. The only problems that I really have with them, the blue jeans were a size 5 and the red were a size 3. So they fit kind of weird. And the blue isn't the right shade. So I decided that I would make another pair of shorts, which are right here. And they aren't great, but they're at least closer to what her shorts look like in the movie. And they don't look terrible when I've got them on. The main problems that I have with these, they're really short and they're kind of thin, but I can deal with that. I actually used textbook covers to make these because I knew what kind of material those covers are made from, and I knew that it would be stretchy enough. And yeah, had I gone to a fabric store to look for something, I wouldn't have really been entirely sure of what I was looking for. I wouldn't have known if I would even be able to find the right fabric in both colors. So I got the textbook covers. I got them from Office Max, and all I did for those, I used the seam ripper on all the seams of them. And then if you do that and you fold them in half a certain way, they kind of already look like shorts. So I kind of went off of that, and after folding them in half like that, I cut them down the middle, I cut along the folds. I had to, you can see on each side, I had to sew a little bit of extra fabric in there. Yeah, that was really all that I had to do. And then I used some of the fabric from the other half of it. Obviously I used it for the extra that's on the sides, and then for the waistbands, and then for this piece, which is kind of just a rectangle. And yeah, I mean, they work pretty well. If I did anything differently, I would have bought the jumbo textbook covers instead of the regular size ones, so that I would be comfortable knowing that I had more fabric, because, I mean, I didn't really have much of the covers left after doing this, so it would have been better to use the bigger ones and have that excess fabric, and I also probably would have been able to make them to where they're longer and they fit better, and they look more like shorts and less like underwear. They work though. I did, because they're so short, I bought sheer tights to wear under them just so that I'm more comfortable in them. I also made the belt. I had an old studded glow-in-the-dark belt, and I never wore it anymore, so I just went and bought some gold paint from Walmart, and I painted all the studs. And I think in some places it took a couple layers of paint, just because it was kind of thin and a little hard to work with, but I mean, it worked. I got pretty good coverage, so I think that's everything that I have. I had the choker that I made, but I don't really like how it turned out, so I'm just gonna buy one, and I don't have any bracelets or anything yet. I did also make a belt buckle. I used craft foam for it that I also painted with the gold paint, and then I had, like, I don't know if all craft foam has sticky on the back. Mine did, so I made the buckle, and then to put it on my belt, I just peeled some of the paper backing off of the corners on each side of it and stuck it to my belt that way. It did end up breaking though, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that. Yeah, I think that's everything, so I hope that I at least maybe did something to help at least one person. I would be totally happy with that, assuming anyone even watches this. And if I was awkward at all, I am sorry. I am trying. I just want to help people, and sitting here talking to my iPod is kind of weird. And I don't do well talking to people anyways. I don't think I rambled in this one though, so yeah, third time's a charm.